Trading's all about probabilities. What's the likeliness of something happening? And I gave you two possibilities on Jasmy that would make me interested in a Jasmy buy. We were in an 87-day range. You need to respect the range. We were in there 87 days, what means that we're going to come out of the range. We were hovering at this resistance band. So we were in the range for 87 days. We didn't know whether we were going to break to the upside or we didn't know whether we were going to pull back. We knew that our stochastic indicator was overbought. So we were expecting price to pull back. And what happened? Completely against what we thought, straight through, cracked through the resistance. And now what do we need? We need this 87-day range to flip support. We need this as a support buy. So what areas am I looking at and how am I playing this? Okay, probabilities. Let's stack some probabilities together on this chart. What do we expect to happen? What do we think is likely to happen? What's the highest probability of it actually happening? And more importantly, how can we monitor it? So if you do like these videos, don't forget, subscribe to the Crypto Bullseye channel. We're going to have more alpha coming your way exactly like this. So we're in the 87-day range. We're trading at 0.034 on Jasmy. So call it 3.5 cents on Jasmy. Are we likely to pull back? How far are we likely to pull back? And what indicators are telling us that we are due a pullback? So first and foremost, our stochastic, it's over 80. And what do we say when we're over 80 on the stochastic? It's overbought. Stochastic RSI is a lagging indicator, so you can use it in conjunction with other indicators and in conjunction, more importantly, with the leading indicator, which is price action. So I always use the stochastic to tell me, are we overbought or are we oversold? Then we move on to the next step to find out what's price action telling us, what's the other indicators telling us. So before we go further into Jasmy, we're going to look at the BTC dominance because I just want to show you the correlation between these. We're overbought on Jasmy, and then when you look at the BTC dominance, you can see that we're oversold. When you're trading under 20, you're oversold. What happens when you're overbought? This is what happens when you're overbought. That's where you're overbought. You get a pullback. Overbought, you get a pullback. So you expect a pullback when you're overbought and you expect a pump when you're oversold. So what we need to monitor is, as this comes up now, the stochastic comes up, how high is the Bitcoin dominance going to go? Is it going to break back in to its ascending channel, which will be bearish for altcoins, bullish for Bitcoin? Or are we just going to hover back up to this resistance for a proper rejection from this ascending wedge and a big move to the downside? If we get that big move to the downside on Bitcoin dominance, you'll start seeing altcoins rally. But does it mean it's going to happen right now? We need to know exactly when's the highest probability of this happening. So we jump back into the Jasmy chart. Sorry if I'm going a bit too quick. We're jumping back into the Jasmy chart. Is there any clues that's telling us that we need to pull back on here? Here's a clue. I'll explain this very shortly. This is an RSI bearish divergence. So we can pop that on there. This is where that was on price action. You can see on price action, you're making those higher highs, you're making those higher lows. What's happening on the RSI? Putting in a higher high and you're putting in a higher low. The RSI is measuring buying and selling pressure, buying and selling momentum. You think of trading as buyers and you think of traders as sellers. That's all it is. Some people are buying more on one day. Some people are selling more on one day. Some people have got a lot more liquidity to spend, which moves the market more. It's just buyers and sellers, and it's human emotions. And this RSI is telling us that the buying pressure doesn't match what the price is telling us. So we're getting some clues here. We're getting some clues. The price is too high at the moment. We're due a pullback. We know we need to pull back to our 87-day range. That's sitting at 0.027. And we need to monitor the stochastic RSI. How far is this going to pull back as price pulls back? If this pulls back to oversold round here, if it pulls back to oversold round here and price is hovering at the top of the 87-day range, what's that telling us? It's acting as support, guys. It's acting as support. You can expect it to hold support and a continuation to the upside. So you can see how these tools are powerful when you move in conjunction with each other. You can look at Bitcoin dominance, you can look at the Jasmy chart, and you can look at signals and indicators to tell us at what position that we're in at any point in time. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. I want this to hold. And I want Bitcoin dominance not to break back into its ascending wedge. So if you did find this useful, guys, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I'll bring you more alpha my way going forward, and I'll see you in the next one.